What's up guys? Ayan, so hello po sa inyong lahat. I am Sir Fercie and this is Study Chunks with Sir Fercie. This is the second installment po ng ating lesson para sa ating Campus Journalism 2. Okay, so magkakaroon po tayo ng panibagong lesson which is about writing a narrative essay. Okay, so yun po, previously, pinag-usapan po natin yung introduction, kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng essay. Okay, so sana malinaw na po sa atin, kung ano ang characteristics, ano yung mga elements, composition, structure, okay, yung even mga tips, kung paano makapagsulat ng magandang essay. Okay po, so just a review, magkaroon tayo ng konting review about our previous lesson. An essay is an extended piece of writing that presents and supports a thesis or proposition. The word essay derives from the Latin word exagium, meaning the presentation of a case. There are 6 types. Okay, baligtad ba? Okay, so 6. Hindi ko alam kung tama ang aking There are 6 types of essay, namely narrative essay, argumentative essay, compare and contrast essay, definitive essay, persuasive essay, and descriptive essay. Okay? The 3 components of a good essay are the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And additionally, the figure po na meron tayo dito sa ating assessment page, sa page number 5, okay, illustrates the structure of an essay. So, ito lamang po yung mga mahahalagang nilalaman dapat ng ating introduction, introductory paragraph, ng ating middle paragraph, pati ng ating concluding paragraph. Okay, so after po ng ating review, pwede nyo nang sagutan ng ating assessment. I know naman na yung iba sa inyo nakapag-advanced study na, kaya ready na kayo na sagutan ng itong ating mga questions. Okay, so ito po ay related sa sample nating essay which is about the keys, The title of the essay is Keys to Successful Essay. Ayan, so pakibasa na lang po yun bago natin sagutan itong assessment number 1. Okay, so proceed na po tayo sa ating next lesson. Okay, last lesson po natin para sa ating sub-quarter A, we're going to have writing a narrative essay. One of the kinds po ng ating essay is a narrative essay. In this lesson po, we will learn how to write a narrative essay. And this lesson po is estimatedly equivalent to 3 class meetings, pero hopefully matapos natin siya, this week. Ayan, para next week po, libre na kayo na gawin yung mga natitirang requirements natin para maipasa nyo din siya before the deadline, which is on September 25. Okay, so by the way po, bago kayo gumawa, make sure po na malinaw sa inyo yung ating guidelines, yung ating mga instructions kung paano gagawin yung ating written work number 1, pati yung lalo na yung performance task natin, which is writing a narrative essay. Okay, so pwede kayo magtanong sa akin kapag may mga confusions. Okay, halimbawa, Sir Fercie, ano po ba dapat ang structure ng narrative essay? Or okay lang po ba na magtagalog? Well, kung wala naman, halimbawa naman kung wala naman doon sa instruction natin, sa guidelines natin yung question nyo, yun yung tatanggapin natin mga questions. And mas maganda din na malinaw sa inyo, kung ano talaga yung ina-expect natin dito sa ating output. Ayan. So, before we start po with our next lesson, which is about narrative essay, I would just like to invite everybody po na samahan ako sa ating prayer. Okay, sa ating opening prayer, close your eyes and let us pray. Lord of light and wisdom, grant us bright intellect, a sound judgment, and retentive memory. Help us to study patiently, orderly, and diligently, to develop our gifts and make good use of them, according to your will, as we commit ourselves to Veritas et Fortitudo, Pro Deo et Patria. Amen. Ayan, so ready na tayo, And I hope you're also ready na, maghanda na kayo ng water dyan sa tabi nyo kasi medyo madami tayong pag-uusapan ngayon tungkol dito sa pagsusulat ng narrative essay. Ayan, pati ako nag-water na din. And so papasin nyo, merong kakaiba sa ating setup ngayon, Pinili ko munang wag ilagay yung ating black na backdrop para naman something na refreshing sa inyong mata ang ating makikita. Ayan, so start na po tayo with our new lesson which is about writing a narrative essay. Okay, so for our learning objectives at the end of this lesson, we must be able to 1. Define narrative essay, determine the function and purpose of narrative essay, and number 3, compare narrative essay to other types of essay. And for our key terms, we have narrative, elements of a story, narrative hook, and narrative arc. Yan, so pag-usapan po natin yung mga bagay na yan. Okay, so let's start. What is a narrative essay? Okay, a narrative essay tells a story. Yun lang yun. Okay? A narrative essay tells a story. Even though the narrative essay po has the same basic form as most, okay, other academic essays, it allows the writer to be more creative, no, than academic essay usually do. Okay? It's about telling a story kasi eh. Okay? Meron kang kinukwento dito. Several important elements po make up a story. Ayan. So, by the way, no, since we are still talking about essay, meron kasi mga nagtatanong din sa akin, no, kung okay lang po ba na gumawa kami ng sarili naming story na ito ay hindi based on real events. Ayan. So, to answer that question po, no, hindi po tayo pwedeng maglagay ng mga fictional na content sa ating essay kasi ano pa rin yan, academic writing pa din po itong ating essay. Okay? Kaya yung mga sample din natin dito sa ating discussion, ito po talaga ay based on real events. Talagang na-experience po nila yung narrative, yung story na yon na nasa essay nila. Okay? So, yun po yung ating first na kailangan tandaan, no, bago tayo magsulat ng ating narrative essay. Okay, so we have here, no, several elements, important elements that make up a story. Since we're talking about storytelling, no, narrative essay, it's about narration, no, ng story. We have here different elements. Alamin natin kung ano yung composition ng isang story. Number one, we have the setting. Okay, so alam natin to, no, ever since elementary, pinag-aaralan natin to na kung ano yung mga elemento, okay, ano yung mga, ano ba sa Tagalog yung elements? Basta yung bumubuo sa isang kwento, no? Novel man yan, short story man yan. Okay, so we have here different elements. Number one, we have the setting. Pag sinabi nating setting, this is the location, no, where the action in a story happens. We have the theme. This is the basic idea of the story. Very often, the theme will deal with a topic that is common in life or human nature, such as greed, envy, love, independence, and so on. Okay? We also have mode, number 3, the feeling or atmosphere that the writer creates for the story. It could be happy, it could be hopeful, suspenseful, or scary. Both the setting and descriptive vocabulary create the mood in a narrative. So, nagkakaroon na tayo ng idea, no? Choice of words din daw, no? Yung isa sa mga susi para makapag-establish ka noong mood na gusto mong maramdaman ng mga readers mo. Okay, para kang gumagawa dito ng pelikula kaso nasa papel pa siya. Ano? So you need to make your readers feel what you are feeling doon sa story na yon. Kasi that is your personal story din eh, no? Number 4 natin, of course, hindi pwedeng mawala ang ating characters. These are the people in the story. They are affected by the mood and they react to the events in which they are involved. And lastly po, no, ito na yung ating plot, number 5. This is what happens in the story. Okay, this is what happens in the story, and that is the sequence of events. The plot often includes a climax or turning point at which the characters or events change. Okay, so itong mga bagay po na ito po yung ma-encounter natin kadalasan. Or ito yung mga content talaga, no? Dito iikot. Okay, present itong lahat ng ito sa ating narrative essay. Because we're telling a story. Lahat naman tayo na naka-encounter na tayo ng mga stories ever since childhood, no? Nakakwentuhan na tayo ng mga mommies and daddies natin, di ba? Bedtime stories, even sa mga pinapanood nating mga programs, mga films, movies, ayan, mga series, may mga stories dyan. And lahat po ng sinabi kong mga elements na yon, setting, theme, mode, characters, plot, lahat ng yan present sa isang story. Okay? So, ganun lang po kadali ang isang narrative essay, no? Kapag alam mo kung paano magkwento, then alam mo na kung paano magsulat nito. Okay po? An effective essay includes these elements. Okay, so pag naman pumunta na tayo sa pagsusulat ng isang narrative essay, okay, parang meron din tayong mga kailangang i-consider na mahahalagang elements. Not just yung elements ng story. Okay, pero meron ding special elements po ang ating narrative essay. Number 1 is the thesis. Okay, the thesis that sets up the action in the introduction. Okay, number 2, these are the transition sentences that connect events and help the reader to follow the story, which can be found po sa ating body paragraphs. And lastly, a conclusion that ends the story, action, and provide a moral, prediction, or revelation. In other words po, ito pong tatlo na to, these are yung tatlong components natin, no, sa structure ng ating essay. The introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Okay, so mamaya pa po, i-elaborate natin yung mga bagay na yan. Okay, so sabi dito, what are, ito na nga, the elements of a narrative essay. So we have the first one, the introduction. So, kung meron kayong notes dyan, no, mas maganda kung makakapag-take notes kayo, lalo na kung hindi pa kayo nakakapagsimula or nag-stop muna kayo sa pagsusulat ng inyong narrative essay na due next week, no? Kasi gusto nyong marinig itong video natin. So, mas maganda kung makapag-take notes kayo, no, kung may maibagay man ako mga examples na para ma-consider nyo siya bago nyo siya tapusin. The introduction is the paragraph that begins your story. This is where you describe the setting, introduce the characters, and prepare the reader for the action to come. Okay? Of course, the introduction should have a hook and a thesis. Okay? At ano yung hook or thesis na pinag-uusapan natin dito? Okay, we call that a narrative hook. A narrative hook po, usually, it is the first sentence or two that grabs the reader's attention. Okay? Hooks are especially important in narrative essays because they help set the stage for the story. Okay? The hook po makes the reader start guessing about what will happen next. Okay? Dito mo kukuhanin yung interest, no? Noong reader mo para sila ay mas lalong ma-engage pa na alamin kung ano yung mga next pang events na mag-unfold sa yung narrative. So we have here example of a good hook. Magkaroon tayo ng idea, no? Ano kaya yung ibig sabihin? Ano yung example? Paano gumawa ng isang magandang narrative hook? So, meron tayo ditong example. Babasahin ko lang po, no? I had never been more anxious in my life. I had just spent the last 3 endless hours trying to get to the airport so that I could travel home. Okay? So, this narrative hook po, no? Itong dalawang sentences na to, it makes the reader asks, who is the narrator and why is he or she anxious? No? Where is the airport? No? What made the trip to the airport seem endless? Diba? Nakakapagtaka, nakaka-curious no? And why is this person going home? May emergency ba? May nangyari ba sa family? Okay? Ano yung gagawin niya? Diba? Ano pa yung gagawin ng character na to? Ano yung twist dito? Ano yung climax dito? So, that is our narrative hook. Now, let's proceed to the thesis. Okay, ngayon meron na tayong idea paano natin mahuhook yung mga readers natin, no? Paano tayo makakapagbigay ng, paano natin mai-introduce ng tama yung ating essay with a narrative hook, no? Para magkaroon ng exciting factor, interesting factor yung ating mga readers na lalo silang magbasa, lalo na lang ituloy yung pagbabasa, okay, doon sa ating essay. After ng narrative hook, no, idiretso na agad natin sa ating thesis statement. Okay, so thesis statement po, usually the thesis states the main idea of the essay and tells what the organization of the information will be. However po, in a narrative essay, no, the thesis introduce the action that begins in the first paragraph of the story. Okay, dito niya i-reveal kung tungkol talaga saan yung story mo. Ano yung magiging pinaka-climax, no? Parang bibigyan na ng idea yung reader kung ano yung pagdadaanan ng character. Okay, so we have here examples of thesis statements. So now, as I watched the bus driver set my luggage on the airport sidewalk, I realized that my frustration had only just begun. Okay, tapos next example natin, because his pride wouldn't allow him to apologize, Ken now had to fight the bully and he was pretty sure that he wouldn't win. Diba? Parang doon na pinapataas yung action, no? Parang doon na binibigyan ng idea kung ano yung kailangang mabasa, kailangang abangan ng mga readers natin. Doon iikot yung story, doon sa thesis statement natin. Okay, kung nakuha mo na sila doon sa iyong narrative hook, kailangan pagkabasa nila ng thesis statement mo, dire-diretso na yung magbabasa. Dire-diretso na silang i-discover yung pinaka-story mo. Okay? So, the example sentences po do not tell the reader what happens. Okay? Itong mga thesis statements na to, they only introduce the action that will follow. Diba? The paragraph po in the body will develop the story. Kung ba, binigyan mo lang sila ng free taste. no? Noong main course mo. Ayan, na para magki-crave pa sila. Ano pang meron dito sa pagkain na to? Ano pang meron dito sa kwento na to? Okay po. So, yun po yung ating narrative hook and thesis statement na matatagpuan natin sa introduction ng ating narrative essay. Okay po. So, next tayo, kung meron tayong introduction, okay, sa introduction, meron tayong narrative hook and thesis. So, mahalaga po yun, bago mo talaga siya simulang gawin, dapat meron ka ng naisip na thesis statement. Okay? Mahalaga po dito yung thesis statement, no? Kung saan talaga iikot. Ano yung magiging rising action and climax ng iyong story. Kailangan hindi siya stagnant, no? Kasi mamaya may pag-uusapan tayo na structure po ng narrative essay natin, ng ating plot, no? Dito sa ating kwento. And as well as yung iyong narrative hook. Kung meron ka ng thesis statement, okay, medyo paganahin mo naman ang creativity mo kung paano mo naman gagawin itong narrative hook mo. Okay po, so you can just base doon sa ating example, kumuha ka ng idea dyan, or you can actually create your own narrative hook. Diba? So, the body, number 2, we have now the body. The body of your narrative essay contains most of the plot, the supporting information. The action in the plot can be organized po in many different ways. Okay, dito na po tayo magsisimulang magkwento. Okay, dito sa ating body. So, meron daw tayong iba't ibang styles or methods in organizing, no, yung ating body, yung mga events po doon sa ating body. Number 1 natin, or letter A natin, is yung the chronological or time order. So, in this method po, no, each paragraph gives more information about the story as it proceeds in time. Okay? The first paragraph usually describes the first event, the second paragraph describes the second event, and so on. Okay? So, kapag po ginamit natin itong method na to, well, actually, ito yung pinaka-conventional na method pagdating sa pag-organize ng ating body paragraphs. Yung chronological or time order. Yung magsisimula ka sa day 1, tapos day 2, day 3, okay, hanggang umabot sa climax, hanggang sa mag-end yung story mo. Okay, so ganun po yun, no? And usually, ganun din yung mga stories na na-encounter natin. Okay? Yung kinasanayan nating mga kwento, nagsimula sa pagkabata, di ba? Tapos naging binata hanggang sa tumanda. Okay, ganun po yung flow nitong ating chronological or time order. Of course, gumagamit din tayo dito ng mga transitional sentences. Okay, ito naman yung magiging supporting natin. Okay, ito yung magiging instrument natin kapag tayo ay gumagamit ng chronological or time order. Okay, so with the use of transitional sentence po, babasahin ko lang, in a chronological organization, each paragraph po ends with a transitional sentence. Or it starts with a transitional sentence as well. Okay? So, transitional sentences po have two purposes. To signal the end of the action in one paragraph, and number 2, to provide a link to the action of the next paragraph. These sentences are vital because they give your story unity and allow the reader to follow the action easily. Okay? So, napakadali pa pag sinabi nating transitional sentences. Of course, it makes use of transitional words like first, okay, halimbawa, meron din tayong mga time expressions, pero with transitional sentences, gumagamit tayo ng meanwhile, on the other hand, however, okay, tapos, on the other day, ganyan. So, yun yung mga transitional sentences natin. A week later, di ba? 10 years after, yun yung mga transitional sentence, actually, transitional words or phrases sila na ginagamit sa sentence, kaya tinatawag silang transitional sentences. Okay, sila po yung nagbibigay ng manner of time. Kaya siya nagiging chronological. Okay, one day, okay, finally, ganyan, and they live happily ever after. Something like that. Okay po, so yun po yung paggagawa ng ating body, no? Meron tayong mga events na nangyari doon sa ating story. Okay, andun yung plot, di ba? Ngayon, ang magiging crucial na lang dito kung paano mo ito i-organize. And the best way po para i-organize ito is to use chronological or time order with the support of transitional sentences. Okay po? So, number 3 tayo, no? The third element natin, third part natin ng narrative essay is the conclusion. Like academic essays po, no? Narrative essays need to have concluding ideas in the concluding paragraph. No, you finish describing the action in the essay. So the final sentence po can have two functions. It can deliver the moral of the story or tell the reader what the characters learn from the experience. Ayan, so binigay na sa atin kung ano dapat yung magiging content, no? And number 2, it can make a prediction or a revelation. So parang merong may sequel. Okay? Disclosure of something that was not known before. Okay? So, yun po yung ating conclusion. Pwede mong i-end ito ng moral story, kung ano yung natutunan ng characters doon sa climax, no? Doon sa action na kinaharap niya. Okay? Doon sa struggle na pinagdaanan ng character. Ano yung natutunan niya na pwede niyang i-share doon sa readers niya, or it could make a prediction daw or a revelation ng isang bagay na hindi alam ng marami. Okay, na makukuha niya doon sa story. Okay? So, actually, napakaganda nitong ating pinag-uusapan, no, about narrative essay. Kasi dito, mas makikilala mo yung sarili mo. Dito, mas makikilala ko kung sino kayo. Okay? Dito, mas magiging creative kayo kung paano nyo ipepresent, no, yung kwento nyo sa akin. Parang dito, mas magiging, mas ma-enhance, mas ma-develop, no, yung pag-organize nyo ng information din. Okay? Pagkukwento nyo, pagiging creative nyo. Ayan. So, ganun po tayo, no? Mas magandang hanggang ngayon dapat matagal na, no? Nung nabasa nyo itong ating activity, nakapag-isip na kayo, ano yung best part, no? Best experience mo na pwede mong i-share sa akin. Okay? Kasi ako yung magiging number 1 reader mo dyan. Ako po kasi yung mag-check niyan. Okay? So, yun po yung ating narrative essay. Yung mga elements ng ating narrative essay. Okay? So, mamaya po, i-elaborate po uli natin yan, no? Magkakaroon tayo ng ibang mga points pa, ibang mga concepts pa na related din dyan sa tatlong elements na yan para mas lalong ma-encourage tayo, no? Mas lalo tayong ma-inform at maturuan kung paano magsulat ng narrative essay, ng magandang narrative essay. Okay po, so yun lang naman, doon tayo nag-end sa ating first chunk video of our second installment. Okay, I will be seeing you in our second video, no, sa pagpapatuloy ng ating discussion about writing a narrative essay. So maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. I am Sir Fercie, and this is Study Chunks with Sir Fercie, writing a narrative essay. See you po in our next video. Goodbye!